I know what it feel like to be broke, and I can't even begin to tell you how many times I got frustrated by not having no money and not having no access to money and not knowing how I'm gonna make my next dollar. Jumping from job to job to job, not liking none of them, but knowing that I had to make money. And no matter how many times we try to say that money does not matter, the truth is we need it. If you came to this video, not only do you want to make money, but you want to be rich. So I got y'all. In this video, I got 5 tips for broke people to get rich. So make sure y'all go ahead and drop a like on this video, because I promise you gonna leave this video with more knowledge than you came to this video with, and you're gonna be able to make some money right now. So without further ado, let's get it. Now, the first thing that everybody should be doing to make money right now is to sell things that you don't need. And I know what you're probably thinking right now. What am I going to sell? Everything I have in my house, I need. But what if I told you that you don't need everything that you have right now in your house? I was in that same boat when this idea first hit my mind, wondering, what am I going to sell? How can I make money right now? I love everything I have. But then I quickly realized that everything I had was not something that I needed right now. And if I want to make money, I got to sacrifice some things in order to get there. And also, y'all know, I don't rock with 9 to 5s like that. So I wanted to make money right now without having to go work a job that I hate. So I said, okay, let's get it. What can I go ahead and push off and delay some gratification for a little while so that I can get started on my business? And I can tell y'all, when I first started my music career, I had no money at all, literally about $20 in my pocket. But websites like OfferUp, Let Go, Facebook Marketplace changed my life. Literally, without those websites, I wouldn't have been able to get my first microphone, my first interface, which I ended up spending my last $100 on to get that interface so that I could start recording my music. I started selling things that I did not need, like old phones that I did not use anymore. And you can sell iPhones for parts. So even if you cannot work it right now, the battery doesn't work, you can still sell that phone, and then they could go ahead and take it apart and they can sell parts from that phone, rather it's the screen, whatever it is. The second thing I went to sell was game systems that I did not need. Now, at the time, I had a PlayStation 4 and I literally was not playing it that much because I was trying to figure out how I could make money. So I was watching YouTube videos, I was at jobs that I hated, I was doing all these things so that I could make money. So I didn't have time to play the video games. But even if I did, and I know some of y'all probably looking and you thinking, yo, you play your PS4 or your PS5 or your Xbox, whatever you have, and you looking at me right now like you crazy. I'm not selling that. But listen, if you want to level up and you want to make more money, you want to start that business, if you want to start this YouTube channel, there's some things you're going to have to invest in. Yes, you can use your phone to record videos. You might need some lighting. There's some things that you're going to want so that you can improve your quality over time. And selling that PS4 right now is not going to hurt you long term. And you're going to look back and you're going to be happy you did that, because I know I was. I also started selling old Jordans that I had that, yes, they were still in great condition and I was able to sell them because I barely wore them, but it was just that for me. And the reason why I had to sell those shoes, because I did not wear those shoes. And once again, I wanted to level up. I did not care about the things that I once did when I was just throwing money into places that did not matter and I wasn't going to care about in the future. Like those shoes, I was able to sell those shoes and that added to my pocket so that I could go ahead and buy that first microphone or that first computer or that first audio interface. All these things because I was able to part ways with things that I really didn't need, but I just wanted, and it was giving me that instant gratification at that moment. So make sure y'all go ahead and sell things that y'all don't need. After this video, start looking around your house, seeing what you can sell that you do not need as much as you think you do. Now, the second thing for broke people to do to get rich right now is to learn how to budget. Now, when I first started learning about budgeting, I thought the same thing that everybody else thinks. Why would I want to be restricted? I felt like somebody was controlling me and I wouldn't be able to spend money on things that I wanted and that it was going to take away from my enjoyment. But I can tell you, it doesn't. It literally adds to your enjoyment. I once heard that budgeting isn't a restriction. It allows you to spend your money. It's giving yourself permission to spend your money, because now you know exactly how much money you coming in. You have to know how much money you have coming in. You cannot just move on a whim and just be buying things and creating new bills for yourself and then trying to figure it out later. You want to know how much you make, how much you can actually afford, and you want to write that down on paper. This is going to be one of the biggest factors to help broke people go from broke to rich, and it's going to change your life drastically. One of the biggest problems I had when it came to budgeting was, okay, cool, I got my income wrote down and I got my expenses wrote down, but how do I actually pace myself to actually have that money in an account when those bills are due? Because say you get paid 4 times a month, it's easy to say, okay, this is how much I make every month and this is how much I have to spend, but it's not easy to actually have that money there, because if you're getting paid 4 times every month, you have to make sure that that money is there at the end of the month. The best way to do that, if you get paid 4 times a month, you need to take a quarter of each bill out of each check. So if you have a phone bill that's $100 a month, you get paid 4 times a month, you need to make sure you're taking $25 from each one of those 4 checks. So that way, at the end of the month, when that bill is due, you now have $100 in that bank account and you only had to take $25 from each paycheck. So you didn't have to wait to the end of the month and you only get paid about $700 from your paycheck. And now you got to take $100 from that check, and then you got to take $50 for this next bill. And you got to continue to keep on taking every dollar, and you never get a chance to really enjoy your money. Start implementing this budgeting tip into your life, and it's going to change the game for you completely. The third thing that broke people can start doing right now to get rich is to start using a credit card for every single purchase you make. Never use a debit card. This right here was one of the biggest game changers in my life, because just like a lot of people, I was using a debit card for every single purchase. And growing up, a lot of people around me never used credit cards. It was looked at as a bad thing. It was something that a lot of people looked at as a trap, because if you get $1,000 credit limit, a lot of people look at that credit limit and say, okay, cool, I got $1,000, even if they only got $5.60 in their bank account. And I can tell you, the way you got to look at your credit card is, if you have $1,000 credit limit, if you only have $5.63 in your bank account, you can only spend $5.63 on that credit card. For me personally, every time I spend money on a credit card, as soon as it hits my balance and shows up, I pay that balance, because literally, like I said, whatever I have in my bank account is exactly what I'm allowed to spend on this credit card. And what I mean by that is not just spending whatever you have in your bank account. We all know that by now. You can only make purchases that you can afford to spend. Don't spend over what you have, or else that's going to put you in a position where you'll start getting behind on your credit card payments, and it'll start accruing interest, and it'll also drop your credit score due to credit utilization. But one of the biggest perks of using a credit card for every single purchase is you get cash back rewards. Cash back rewards is one of the most misunderstood things when it comes to using a credit card, because a lot of people like to say, oh, you only get 1.5% cash back on a purchase, which, yeah, if you spend $100, you'll get $1.05. Now, I know some debit cards offer cash back, but it's very rare. So the way you have to look at it is, if your debit card doesn't offer cash back rewards, if you purchase something for $100, you use that debit card, you get nothing in return. If you just make the simple choice to go ahead and use your credit card instead of your debit card that has 1.5% cash back, for that same $100 purchase, I just made $1.05. And some of them are higher depending on where you purchasing things. I have credit cards that give me about 3% for using my credit cards in restaurants. The money that I did not make from using that debit card. It was just a simple decision. Which one was I going to go ahead and take out of my wallet? I choose the credit card every single time. And another thing, when you go ahead and file disputes, say if you get a charge to your account that you did not authorize, credit cards resolve that issue way faster than debit cards. It might take a couple days before you get your money back when it comes to the debit card, and it's your money. Guess what? Credit card, I literally do not have to even pay that balance yet. I can literally call up the card issuer and I can go ahead and dispute that charge, and I've never even paid that balance yet, meaning it never left my bank account. So even if they took a while to go ahead and resolve that issue, I still did not come out of pocket any money at all. So make sure y'all use y'all credit cards instead of your debit cards, and I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. As long as you stay disciplined and you pay that balance as soon as it shows up as a reported balance. Now, the fourth tip that broke people can start using right now to go ahead and get rich is you got to make more money. This might be one of the most obvious tips on this list, but literally you have to make more money. One of the most frustrating things that a lot of us probably experience in our lives, I definitely know I experienced this, was when you tracking your income and you see your expenses, you realize you either just making the cut or you can't even afford to pay your expenses. And I promise that's one of the most frustrating things things in the world when you look and you like, damn, how am I gonna make this extra income so I can go ahead and live a better lifestyle? I can pay my bills and I can still go out to eat. I can still travel. I can still do these things. You need to make more money. I know a lot of y'all probably thinking that this is easier said than done, but listen, we living in the perfect era when it comes to making more money, and you can do it from your house. Y'all watching this video right now, you can learn so much just from watching YouTube videos, and you don't even have to leave your house. You don't have to pay $1. And yes, there's a lot of paid courses out there, but it's a whole lot more free content out there than paid courses that you can learn from every single day. When I started making music, I had to learn to mix and master my own music. I saw so many ads saying you're never gonna learn how to mix from home. You need a real teacher to show you because you don't have the knowledge to even know what to ask for. What questions am I asking? But I locked in and I stayed up every single night just so I can learn how to mix and master my music, and that saved me money long term because I didn't have to pay anybody for that service. You can learn how to edit thumbnails for YouTube videos. You can learn how to edit your videos. You can learn how to create content. What's the best camera to go ahead and record your videos on? What's the best lighting setup so that you can get the best lighting in your videos? So make sure y'all go ahead and start learning and educating yourselves and just continuously growing and figuring out more ways to go ahead and make more money so that you can live more comfortably and still pay all your monthly expenses. We all want to live comfortable at the end of the day. That's why y'all clicked on the video, right? Now, the fifth and final tip in this video for how broke people can get rich right now is self-care. This is something that I still struggle with, and I know a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to me on this, but you gotta take care of yourself. I can't stress this enough to myself and everybody that tune into my videos and my live streams when I'm talking to y'all about success and how we can sustainably build success and wealth. This whole content game could really weigh on your mental. This is literally a mental game. We talk about discipline all the time and how motivation is really a facade, but discipline, and that comes down to your mental. How can I show up every single day and give my all and still be in the mood to do that? That's the biggest thing. How can I be in the mood to do that? And if I'm not in the mood to do that every day, what's a sustainable schedule that I can create for myself to go ahead and do that to my best ability as efficiently as possible? And that was something that I had to learn, and I'm continuing to learn as I'm working through my patience and just how I can continue to educate myself and grow as a person and a content creator. We got to learn not to be so hard on ourselves and understand that, yes, we love what we do, and yes, we want to see all the success that we possibly could dream of, but we have to take the time to go ahead and focus and take care of ourselves, or none of this is going to matter and it won't be sustainable in the long run. So after watching this video, you should be in a better position to go from broke to rich. I don't want to see y'all out here broke. I don't want to be broke. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this advice myself and make sure I continue to implement these tips. And if some of these tips are things that you haven't implemented yourself, make sure you start today, and I promise you, you will be able to go from broke to rich. Let's get out there and change our lives.
I've been balling out since no kid. Inside a Bentley, no key. If I fall in love, I'ma keep it low. I ain't got no hope. They gon' stick around until your funds low. Think I gotta back up? Oh no, no. Gotta get my weight up. Bad bitch, give me don't face when the move right. How you hating on a real nigga? Boss up, baby. I just wanna. When we talk about the rags, gotta mention me. How to see my